Hey there, good morning, everybody. Meteorologist Johnny Lively for our Tuesday morning update. It is a warm, muggy start, but not much on the Tamco Live Doppler radar this morning. Very quiet week kind of shaping up. In fact, we can actually find some storms that aren't too far away from us, but by the time they get into this general region, they are just falling apart very quickly. High pressure, this has sinking air. The middle to upper levels very dry. Low levels probably still has the moisture to make things favorable, but with those mid to upper levels very dry, these showers and storms will approach the lakes region and they just fall apart very quickly. You can see that on the satellite radar. See that brown, the gold, that is that dry air in the middle to upper levels. There on the low levels, you can see we've got the moisture and those pretty decent storms up there in East Texas and Shreveport. By the time they start sneaking into our other region, they just fall apart very quickly. We'll continue to keep an eye on them. I mean, we'll hold the 5, maybe 10% coverage for parts of southwest Louisiana, maybe in the lakes region. But once again, today is going to be like yesterday and really the rest of the week. It is going to be hot and pretty much dry. By the end of the week, you're going to look back and say, hey, this was a dry week. Very different from what we saw last weekend and last week. Temperatures, very warm, what you see this time of year in June. 80s down towards the coast, some 80s along the I-10 corridor. Further to the north is pretty much into the upper 70s, approaching that 80-degree mark thanks to our sponsor of Neutron Electrical Services. Definitely give them a holler if you're having any electrical problems, especially this time of year. We're really using our air conditioner, so it's a good time to give Neutron Electrical Services a call, see what's going on. Wonderful time to check the outdoor and construction forecast. So even if you aren't doing anything construction-wise, just outdoor, it's going to be a pretty hot day, mostly dry. Again, if we're going to talk about the chance of rain, it's like 5% coverage, if that. Another dry day today. We're going to start seeing kind of the clouds clear out throughout the day. This is one of the reasons that this morning's actually slightly cooler. Instead of we're seeing 80s all over the place, we're seeing some upper 70s. We're seeing less clouds holding in the heat this morning, but it's still going to be a pretty hot day today. Temperatures getting into the low to mid 90s. Heat index anywhere from 101 to 106. So thanks to Modern Concrete Material letting us know what's going on today. Another hot day. You can see that as high pressure. This heat dome keeps us pretty much rain-free, and it keeps us pretty hot. That high-pressure ridge is going to stick around not only today, but the rest of the week. And look at all those storms. You can see them kind of riding that ridge. The flow stays north of our region. Storms, they try to come here, but they just can't make it. You're going to see lots of activity going on in parts of the Central Plains into northern Texas. All of that is where the storms are going to be. This high-pressure ridge keeps us hot and mostly dry the rest of the week, and even as we get into the weekend, thanks for sponsor of Switch Electric. There we are, far towards the north. We might see some isolated showers or a storm or two try to develop. I just don't think it's going to get into our region. Even if it does, what's that, 2 to 5% coverage, a little pop-up showers, a little pop-up storm, not enough to even include in the forecast. Another mostly dry day today and very hot for the majority of us. Do Good Credit Union showing us what's going on in the futurecast. Not a whole lot of anything. And if we look at the rainfall outlook, not much of anything at all. We are definitely drying out this week and into the weekend. I'm not saying we're 100% rain-free. You might be able to drive around and find an isolated shower, an isolated storm, but we pretty much are drying out this week, and we definitely need it because, heck, we've seen, 5 to 10 inches of rain just in the last 7 to 10 days. Looking at the tropics, pretty quiet. Nothing going on, not only in the Gulf, the Caribbean, and the Atlantic. Next 7 to 10 days, thanks to our sponsor of Tamco, Helgar Beyond Class 4, shows it's pretty quiet in the tropics as well, too. Later on this afternoon, we're going to be quiet in the rainfall, but it's not going to be quiet in the heat index and the overall heat in general. It's going to get pretty steamy into the low to mid 90s this afternoon. Down towards the coast, you're going to get into the middle 80s to pretty much approaching the upper 80s. Thanks for a sponsor of Silsby Ford, get you one. And then the heat index, I guess the heat's already getting to me already. Heat index down towards the coast into the upper 90s to around 101, but the rest of the region, 101 to 106. Definitely take some breaks. Stay hydrated if you can. Sponsored by Switch Electric. Another hot day is in store for us. And then tonight, we're not going to cool down that much. It's going to be warm, muggy, and sticky. Temperatures into the 80s for a good chunk of the evening. And then by the time we get to around midnight into early Wednesday morning, you'll see the rest of the region into the middle to mainly the upper 70s. And thanks again, Silsby Ford, for showing us what's going on today with the temperatures and tonight. Biggest story is just high pressure dominating the region. That means we're not seeing any more 80s like we did last week because of the rain and the clouds. It is all heat this week. Low to mid 90s, heat index anywhere from 101 to 107. If you find any rain, the coverage is going to be very low and very limited, and those overnight lows at night are going to continue to stay warm and muggy. Same thing for southwest Louisiana. Chance of rain is very, very limited. Very dry this week with temperatures pretty much into the low 90s. Some areas in southwest Louisiana can get into the mid 90s, and this brings us to the time to go download the free Gulf Coast Weather Solutions app. We're talking about heat index into 101, 106. If you've got anybody traveling to parts of the Plains region, there still will be some pretty active weather. And what's cool about this app, it will follow you wherever you go, keeping you updated with all the weather, no matter where you are. We've got people here watching the World Cup, and they have downloaded the Gulf Coast Weather Solutions app. They went to Houston, went to Tulsa, and they have let us know that it literally lets them know, like, hey, there's rain moving in and out of the area. So we thought it was really neat that people here from the World Cup from other countries have downloaded our app. Very cool, very neat that they're doing that. So y'all have a wonderful Tuesday. Thanks for tuning in to the Tuesday Morning Show. Stay cool, stay hydrated, have a good Tuesday, and thanks again for tuning in with us here at Gulf Coast.
Gulf Coast Weather Solutions is sponsored by
At Gulf Coast Weather Solutions, we focus on delivering reliable weather forecasts. Our new app provides reliable weather updates and alerts no matter where you are. With real-time weather alerts and warnings, you can stay informed and prepared wherever you go. Download the Gulf Coast Weather Solutions app today on the App Store and Google Play and stay connected no matter where you are.